Hey guys, it is ToPro or Adam, and today I have a bit of a different video. It's not a top 5 or a top 10 as you can see. Today I want to focus on one map from BO2 Zombies, and that map is Die Rise. Now before we jump into Die Rise gameplay and I talk about the map itself, I want you guys to pause the video and comment right now, what would you rate this map out of 10? Again, before seeing anything regarding Die Rise, what is your feeling about this map right now? Go ahead and comment, and then we'll jump into the actual video. The reason why I want to talk about Die Rise today is because Die Rise is a map that you either really like or you really don't like. And I think one massive thing about Die Rise is, when did you play it? For those of you who played during BO2 and when Die Rise first came out, Die Rise came after Transit, and Transit obviously is a really bad map. But if you went back and played Die Rise today and you never played BO2 or Die Rise before, is Die Rise actually a bad map? That's what I'm going to discuss in today's video. The first time I had ever experienced Die Rise was the day it released, which was sometime in the end of January, a long time ago. And Die Rise to me back then was an amazing map because Die Rise was so much better than Transit. Transit was absolutely awful, so to me, Die Rise appeared to be this phenomenal map. And even as we got more DLCs, Mob of the Dead, Buried, and Origins, during BO2, I still thought Die Rise was good. But about a year ago, when I was doing a lot of BO2 streams, I quickly realized how much I didn't like Die Rise. Now let's talk about the map itself, and I want to start by talking about the one thing that Die Rise does to set itself apart from every other Treyarch zombie map, and that is verticality. So since verticality plays such a massive role on this map, it's going to be a make or break for a lot of people. Do you view verticality as something that is both challenging and unique, because no other map really has this verticality like Die Rise does, or is this verticality just more annoying and tedious than it is actually challenging? So personally, I lean towards more of the frustrating, annoying, and tedious side, because with the verticality of Die Rise, you have to have the perks moving up and down, the Pack-a-Punch moving up and down, and of course, you moving up and down. And with all of these things, I find that on Die Rise, there's a lot of sitting around and waiting for everything, and in a lot of situations, this can be difficult. This really hits you as soon as you start playing Die Rise, as soon as you go down to the power room, and usually if you go down the legit way, which is not the elevator in the spawn room, you'll probably have enough points to buy Jug right away. That's what you usually do on Die Rise. As soon as you flip that power switch, you know, the waiting begins. You're waiting to see which perks are in which elevator. You're waiting to see if Jug is even in those elevators. If not, you have to go up to the roof and check if Jug is in the elevator that is on the roof. So there's a lot of waiting around, and I guess this can be challenging in the later rounds, but you know, after you buy those perks initially, like it's not too bad waiting around, but in the higher rounds when you might down, getting your perks back mid-round, it's almost impossible. And if you leave a zombie just sitting around and waiting for your perks to come up, it's just really tedious. And same thing with Pack-a-Punch. There are times where you pap a gun and the elevator goes down and takes your weapon. That is one thing I really don't like about Die Rise. It's kind of funny because once you are set up on Die Rise and you have those, you know, those 4 perks, you have your Slick of Fire or your A94 wall buy, whatever it might be, Die Rise turns into a really easy map. In fact, one of the easiest maps in BO2, and one complaint I heard about Die Rise when it first came out was the map was way too easy. That's personally why I think of the verticality on Die Rise to be more tedious than I think, because once I'm set up, once I'm actually going for my high round, I don't really have to move, and that whole verticality thing doesn't really do anything for me. So that's my opinion on that, but I do want to rewind a little bit because there is one thing that is on Dire Rise that could probably make this map so much better, but they really screwed this one feature up. That one thing is the elevator key. Like, who actually uses this when playing Dire Rise? I think the big reason why a lot of people don't actually get the elevator key is because you can only hold one part at a time on this map, which is really unfortunate because that elevator key would eliminate so much of that waiting around for perks and pack-a-punch and all these things that we want to grab on the fly, or heck, I just don't want to hold one zombie for 2 minutes waiting for the path to come back up. So if they were able to make it so you could hold the elevator key along with something else, that would make this map so much more enjoyable. One thing that Black Ops 2 Zombies did every single map was introduce a new perk, and that was really exciting, especially if that new perk is good. Now on Dire Rise, we all know what new perk it got, and that was Who's Who. One of the most frustrating yet really useful perks. In solo, it was something you would never want to have because if you did get it, it would pretty much be an instant death. Now, if you had it in co-op though, where people are more spread out, Who's Who was actually a really good perk. Of course, we all know how memorable and how amazing the Wonder Weapon is on this map. The Slick of Fire is such a good weapon, and it's honestly the perfect weapon for this map. Having those chain reaction kills, so unique, so awesome. And of course, the implementation of having, you know, new weapons like the Anony 4 or the SVU was really nice as well, because the SVU, for example, is one of the best snipers in BO2, and it's only on like 2 maps, which is very unfortunate. The last thing that I want to talk about regarding Dire Rise is probably my favorite thing about this map, and that is the jumping jacks. The jumping jacks are just so unique, and they perfectly fit this map, and I love the challenge that goes along with these guys. If you don't shoot a single bullet, you get a free perk as reward, which is actually quite challenging, but not too challenging. Getting free perks in COD Zombies on some maps, it's way too easy, like Buried. All you have to do is kill the witches, which you're gonna have to do anyways. And then on some maps, it's like really annoying hard, like Ascension, not letting the monkeys touch one perk machine, no thank you. Here on Dire Rise, it is perfect, even though there are some really easy strats like the Tramplestein, but still, since these guys are bouncing off all the walls, it can be kind of tough, especially if you're actually trying to knife them. In my opinion, the jumping jacks are one of the, if not the best special rounds on a zombie map. Of course, majority of the maps just have dogs, which is kind of boring, but some maps will have special, unique dog rounds like Dire Rise, and you know, the jumping jacks hands down do such a phenomenal job because they complement the verticality so much. So now I'm gonna go back to the question that I asked at the start of the video. Is Dire Rise a bad map? And I really stand by what I originally said. I think when I first played Dire Rise, I honestly loved this map. It was hands down one of my favorite maps in COD Zombies, but that was because I had just played Transit for like 2 or 3 months, and Dire Rise was just so much better than Transit. Then of course, as BO2 went along, getting maps like Origins and Mob, which are 2 of the best maps ever. Heck, even Buried is actually a really fun and enjoyable map. I just don't think I like Dire Rise as much as I once did. Just as I was getting gameplay for this video, it really sunk in. Dire Rise is not the most enjoyable map to play. At times it is challenging, but after a certain amount of time, I find the map to be tedious. When the box moves, I have to do a lap around the entire map, and that really isn't fun after a while. And I think of Diarize almost as a moon from BO1. BO1's moon, you know, it introduced a very interesting mechanic, which was 0G. Diarize introduced massive verticality. You either like that feature or you don't, and personally, I'm just not that crazy about it. So there we have it, guys. That is my opinion on Diarize. If you want to see more vids like this, there are a couple more maps that I do want to go over that I think are a little bit underrated in COD Zombies, and I would love to talk about them some more. So let me guys know in the comments below, or by dropping a like if you want to see more vids like this. Besides that, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.